Let's starts now. Episode 3, The White Phantom's Realm. Imagine being trapped in a world where the sun never rises, where the air itself freezes your lungs, and where the shadows are alive with the hunger of ancient warriors. This is a red gate, a dungeon that locks from the inside, a dimensional prison where the only key to the exit is the head of the boss. Son Jin-Woo has just jumped into this frozen hell to save the only person who stayed by his side in the Kartnan Temple. But he is still an E rank in the eyes of the world. Can a weakling hunt the monsters that even Shrankers fear? The blizzard is coming, and the hunt has officially begun. Scene 1. Into the frozen abyss. The transition was like being struck by a wall of solid ice. One moment, Jin-Woo was on the paved streets of Seoul. The next, he was knee-deep in a crystalline snow that glowed with a faint, eerie luminescence. The sky above wasn't blue or black. It was a swirling vortex of deep crimson clouds, reflecting the blood-red barrier of the gate that just sealed shut behind him. Where are we? A trembling voice asked. Jin-Woo turned to see the remnants of the key-rank raid party. They were shivering, their light armor offering no protection against the supernatural cold. Among them was Ju-hee, her face pale, her hands clutching her healing staff so hard her knuckles were white. When her eyes met Jin-Woo's, they widened in shock. Jin-Woo? Why are you here? You shouldn't have come in, she cried, rushing toward him. I couldn't let you face this alone, Jin-Woo said, his voice calm, almost detached. The leader of this raid, a cocky key rank named Chul, stepped forward, his massive shield vibrating from the cold. An E rank? Are you kidding me? We're trapped in a red gate with a useless baggage. Listen up. In a red gate, the weak are just dead weight. Stay out of our way or I'll leave you for the wolves myself. Jin-Woo didn't argue. He looked at the horizon. His enhanced senses, courtesy of his perception stat, were picking up something the others couldn't. The snow wasn't just falling. It was being moved by something intentional.
Notification. Emergency quest. Survive the Red Gate. Objective. Defeat the boss, or survive until the gate reopens.
The wolves are already here, Jin-Woo whispered. Scene 2. The ambush of the ice elves. From the white veil of the blizzard, shadows began to detach themselves. They were tall, slender, and moved with a grace that was beautiful yet lethal. These were ice elves, the white phantoms of the frozen dungeons. They didn't use crude clubs or teeth. They carried bows made of enchanted ice and daggers that could slice through reinforced steel. Formation? Shields up? Chul bellowed? But the elves were too fast. An arrow whistled through the air, piercing the shoulder of a mage before he could even finish an incantation. The hunters panicked, firing off spells and swinging swords at shadows. Jin-Woo stayed near the back, his eyes darting across the battlefield. He saw an ice elf archer aiming directly at Ju-hee. In a flash of movement that Chul didn't even see, Jin-Woo vanished. He appeared beside Ju-hee, his hand catching the ice arrow midair. The force of the arrow cracked the ice in his palm, but his hand didn't move an inch. Jin-Woo, your speed? Ju-hee gasped. Stay behind me, he commanded. He unsheathed Kasaka's poison fang. The purple blade hissed as it met the freezing air. An ice elf lunged at him with a dual blade strike. Jin-Woo didn't just parry. He moved with a fluid, predatory elegance. He slid under the elf's guard and drove the poison dagger into its chest.
Effect. Paralyze and bleed have been applied to the target.
The elf froze, its skin turning a sickly shade of violet before it shattered into 1,000 shards of ice. Jin-Woo didn't stop. He was a whirlwind of steel in the snow, protecting the flank while the high-rank hunters struggled to survive the front. Scene 3. The division of the pack. As the first wave of elves retreated into the mist, Chul turned toward the group, his ego bruised. He saw that the E-rank weakling was the only one without a scratch. You're hiding something, Chul spat, pointed his sword at Jin-Woo. No E-rank moves like that? You're a fake. Does it matter? Jin-Woo asked, his gaze cold. We need to find shelter. The temperature is dropping and more of them are coming. Chul scoffed. I'm the leader here. Anyone who wants to live, follow me to the forest. We'll find the boss and end this. The weaklings and the trash can stay here and freeze. To Jin-Woo's surprise, half of the hunters followed Chul, driven by the belief that a key rank strength was their only hope. Only Ju-hee and 2 other lower rank hunters stayed with Jin-Woo. Why aren't you going with them? Jin-Woo asked. Because, Jo-hee said, looking at the ice arrow Jin-Woo had caught with his bare hands. I think the weakest hunter isn't the one Chul thinks he is. Jin-Woo looked toward the forest where Chul was heading. He could smell the blood on the wind. The forest wasn't a shelter. It was a slaughterhouse. Fine, Jin-Woo said, pulling a fur cloak from his inventory. A reward from a previous daily quest. We build a camp here. We wait for them to come to us. Scene 4. The Night of the Hunters. Night fell on the red gate and the crimson sky turned a terrifying, bruised purple. Jin-Woo's group sat around a magical fire he had started using essence stones. While the others slept fitfully, Jin-Woo sat at the edge of the camp, his dagger resting on his knees. Suddenly, a notification appeared.
Aha! Level up! Level up!
Jin-Woo frowned. I haven't killed anything in hours. Why am I leveling up? Then he realized. The party system. Chul's group was in the forest, and they were fighting for their lives. Every time they killed a monster, Jin-Woo gained experience. But the experience gain was rapid. Too rapid. They're being wiped out, Jin-Woo whispered. Through the trees, a lone figure staggered into the light of their campfire. It was one of the hunters who had followed Chul. His armor was shredded, and his face was a mask of pure horror. The Elves. They weren't fighting us, the hunter sobbed, collapsing. They were hurting us. To him. To who? Jin-Woo asked, standing up. The White Phantom, the boss. The hunter gasped before his eyes rolled back. From the shadows of the trees, a figure emerged. He was twice the size of the other ice elves, clad in ornate silver armor and carrying a massive greatsword made of black ice. This was Baruka, the sovereign of the frozen lands. Scene 15. Jin-Woo versus Baruka. Baruka didn't speak. He didn't need to. He raised his black ice sword, and the air around him turned into a vortex of razor-sharp frost. Jin-Woo yelled to Ju-hee. Baruka moved with a speed that exceeded even Jin-Woo's current stats. The black blade crashed down, and Jin-Woo barely parried it with Kasaka's poison fang. The force of the blow drove Jin-Woo's feet deep into the frozen earth.
Warning. Your strength is insufficient to parry this attack. Health, 75%.
So, you're the one leading the survivors. Baruka's voice was like ice grinding against stone. A human who smells of the system. Interesting. Jin-Woo didn't waste breath on words. He activated his skill, Sprint. His speed doubled, his feet leaving blurred prints in the snow. He circled Baruka, striking at the gaps in his silver armor. But Baruka's defense was absolute. Every time Jin-Woo's dagger got close, a wall of ice would form to block the strike. Is that all? Baruka laughed, swinging his greatsword in a wide arc. The shockwave sent Jin-Woo flying into a frozen rock. Jin-Woo coughed up blood, his vision blurring. He looked at the system screen.
Quest. The Heart of a Warrior. Requirement. Overcome the limit. Will you use Final Struggle?
Yes, Jin-Woo growled, standing up. A dark violet aura began to seep out of his body. His eyes glowed with an intense neon blue light. He wasn't just a player anymore, he was a monster in the making. He discarded the dagger and took a low stance. I've died once already, Jin-Woo said, his voice echoing with a power that shook the very trees. A block of ice isn't going to take me down a second time. Scene 6. The Sovereign's Fall. The two clashed in the center of the camp. It was a battle of pure attrition. Jin-Woo stopped trying to dodge and started taking hits to land his own. He punched through Baruka's ice walls, his fists bleeding but unyielding. He grabbed Baruka's greatsword with his bare hand, the black ice freezing his skin instantly, and with his other hand, he drove the broken shard of Kasaka's poison fang into Baruka's throat. Baruka's eyes widened. The poison finally took hold. The great sovereign of the Red Gate began to dissolve into white mist.
Boss defeated. Level up. 5 levels gained. Title earned. Wolf Slayer to one who overcame the trial. Item acquired. Baruka's dagger. A rank.
As Baruka vanished, the crimson sky began to crack. The Red Gate was opening. Jin-Woo stood in the middle of the clearing, his clothes torn, his body covered in frost and blood. Juhi ran to him, her eyes filled with tears. You did it. You actually did it. Jin-Woo looked at his hands. They were shaking, not from cold, but from the raw power surging through him. He was no longer E-rank. He was no longer even crank. He was something else entirely. But as the exit to the real world appeared, a final notification appeared on his screen. One that made his blood run colder than the blizzard.
New quest. The job change. The Monarch of Shadows is watching. Prepare for the ascension.
Jin-Woo walks out of the Red Gate, where dozens of association officials and media cameras are waiting. They expect to see a pile of corpses. Instead, they see a young man walking out with survivors, carrying a rank weapon that shouldn't exist. Among the crowd, a high-ranking Srank hunter narrows his eyes, sensing a terrifying aura coming from the boy. The secret is out. End of Episode 3.